Hello, everyone, and welcome to this exciting event. We hope will be an exciting event to promote the Audiovisual Technician Apprenticeship. So we've got some fantastic speakers lined up for you today. So it's going to be a 30-minute event, and we're going to tell you as much as we can about the opportunities that are available in AV if you fancy becoming an apprentice. So my name is Jack Laidlaw, by the way, and I work for Middlesbrough College. And for the last 4 or 5 years, I've been involved in various audiovisual technology education programs. And the most recent thing that I've done is helped to develop a level 5 AV technician apprenticeship. Next slide, please, Gabe. Okay, so just a brief rundown of what's going to happen. First of all, it's me for a couple of minutes. As I've already said, I work for Middlesbrough College. We're going to hear from Thea, who's Multimedia and AV Production Manager at Welcome. We're going to hear from Graham Massey, who's Managing Director at Jacobs Massey. We're going to hear from Abdul Rafiq, AV Team Leader for London EMEA Asia at Bloomberg. We're going to hear from Colin Etchells, who's the Group Technical Director at Savile Group. And we're going to hear from Joseph Valerio, who's Program Director at Avixa. Next one, please, Gabe. Okay, so just a very brief history of what we've been doing at Middlesbrough College with it in AV. In 2018, we launched the first audiovisual technology degree program in the UK. And as I said, for the last 3-ish years, we've been developing an audiovisual technician apprenticeship standard. And the development of that AV apprenticeship standard involved over 30 AV employers. And on the next slide, there is a list of the employers who were involved. So quite a few of them, as you can see. I think if you click it again, Gabe, thank you, we'll get the rest of them. So lots of AV employees involved in the development of the standard, which is almost ready to go. Next one, please, Gabe. Okay, so a brief overview. The apprenticeship is a 2-year program. It's a level 5 program, which aligns with sort of foundation degree level. And there are opportunities available at a range of different AV employers, including in things such as AV installation, in galleries and museums, in event spaces, universities and colleges, and with broadcasters. So AV is very broad, as I'm sure you'll find out over the course of this event. And that means that there are lots of opportunities to be an apprentice at lots of different types of institutions. Next one, please, Gabe. Okay, if you do become an apprentice, you may not know, you may already know that you will be working and training simultaneously. Your time will be spent working, and that will be in paid employment, and 20% of your time would be training, or what the Institute for Apprenticeships called off-the-job activity. Next slide, please. There's also something called an endpoint assessment involved in an apprenticeship. So in order to get your apprenticeship, you have to go through an assessment at the end of it. It's a 2-stage process, and it involves some written responses and also a professional discussion. And for that professional discussion, you need a portfolio. Next one, please, Gabe. Okay, so for the training program that we've set up for this, it's a foundation degree in audiovisual technology. It lasts for 2 years. It's a part-time course. You study while you're working. It's validated by the Open University. So when you finish that course, you'll have a foundation degree from the Open University, and it includes all of the knowledge, skills, and behaviors from the apprenticeship standard. The important thing to remember about this is that it's delivered online, so you can study wherever you're based. I work for Middlesbrough College, but you can study this program wherever you are in the country. You don't have to be anywhere near Middlesbrough. And another important thing at the bottom there are no course fees. Next slide, please. All right, that was supposed to be and is now my contact details. So if you're interested at all, you make a note of my email address. It's j.laidlaw@embro.ac.uk. And with that, I've already taken up more time than I was hoping to. So I'm going to go on to our first speaker, and we have Thea Stevenson. Thea, take it away.
Thank you, Jack. So I'm Thea, I'm from Welcome, and we are a global charity. We're based in Euston, and our aim is to support science to solve the urgent health challenges facing everyone. So we work in the multimedia and audiovisual production team, and because of the institution that we work for, it being a charity, but that also has a museum called Welcome Collection, our remit is quite diverse. So if you were to come to work with us, you would be working in a team of 8, which splits its roles across this very vast organisation that deals with a museum and then a more corporate charity-based structure in an office. So I've got a slideshow to show some examples of the kind of work that we do. So we're based in London. We have 2 buildings. You can see them in this video. And this little sting here is a representation of some of the motion graphic work we do. But one of our primary roles is to support meetings and events. So this is an example of one of our event spaces. We might do events with internal or external participants. They could be online only, or they could be hybrid. We have various meeting rooms with different types of technology, and we will help people to use these rooms. So you're going to be working with a whole range of people, from scientists and researchers to politicians, maybe if we've got people coming in to talk about climate, health, mental health. We've got priority areas. We've got a venue hire area where we actually sell the space to clients who might want a venue within London, because we're in central London and this is our auditorium. So we do all sorts of things in there. We might do performances, or we might do panel discussions, and you'll learn the technology. You'll learn how to do lighting. For example, this was a event called Cyborgs, and artists were asked to create work around that topic. We also have a museum, so we work with our exhibitions team to produce exhibitions, and we will work on the design, and we'll work on the installation of that, and we'll solve problems. The previous picture was about how could we make an interactive work in COVID without people touching things. So we're using technology that's available and adapting it to work in certain scenarios. We've got a theatre space, so we'll do theatre performances. We're very keen on accessibility, so we try and make everything accessible. So you'd be working with BSL interpreters, maybe things in different languages, subtitling. This picture here is an example of us making video games accessible with big buttons so that they're easy to use and intuitive. This is an example of a live event that we broadcast from our venue, which showcased an exhibition and was a discussion with things. So you'll be learning all sorts of different techniques, and that it is a big remit. There's lots to do, but hopefully that would be very exciting, and you'd be able to decide what it is that you like doing the most. This was an installation with an artist. It was a 3-piece projection. This is 16mm projection, so we work with analog technology as well. It really depends on what the subject matter is, and there's so much to do and lots of different technology, and we have a great team that would be able to assist with your training. I'm just showing you here an example of a recent work that we do, because we do create content. This was something that we did as an advert for an upcoming exhibition, and even the guys managed to do the soundtrack. So there's lots to do, but I think I'm going to leave it there. So hopefully that gives you a good insight. Thanks. Over to Jack.
Thank you so much, Thea. That was wonderful. An emerging theme, I think, today is going to be me sitting here thinking, I want a job there. I'd really like to do that. That sounds really interesting and looks great. Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much, Thea. Next up, where we're going to change up slightly, we're going to go and speak to Graham Massey, who's the Managing Director of the industry-leading recruitment agency in AV, Jacobs Massey. Go for it, Graham.
Hi, my name's Graham Massey. I'm Managing Director here at Jacobs Massey, and we've been involved in audiovisual recruitment for over 20 plus years. I'm here to run through with you a few pointers in terms of career options within the industry. Firstly, I thought we could just quickly explore what's the industry, the AV industry, actually worth. And I think some of you would be quite surprised to know that according to AVIXA, which is the Audiovisual Experience Association, the forecast is, as you can see, over $230 billion. And in terms of creative jobs, which is what primarily we're talking about here within the AV sector, it's a sector that's due to grow twice as fast as UK average by 2024, according to The Stage magazine. So it's worth a sizable amount of money. And there's certainly a huge amount of growth within the industry. So if you are looking to do an AV technician apprenticeship, what options are there for you beyond that apprenticeship? Now, here's a brief industry overview of the various sectors that you can expect to be involved in. One being AV design and system integration. These are companies that quite simply put fixed audio-visual environments into buildings, and a career in design and actually installing those systems is one potential route. Then you have the world of production, and obviously due to the pandemic that has been hugely revised into the virtual world now, as well as hybrid and live events. And then you have the area of AV support, which covers a number of sectors, which can be corporate HQs, galleries, museums, theatres, and really any kind of form of building where there is some form of audiovisual infrastructure. There are roles to support those systems post install and commissioning. And lastly, and certainly by no means least, there is the whole sector of global AV manufacturers. There are many manufacturers within the industry, and there are careers again to be sought within audio, design, R&D, research and development, as well as installation. So being a recruitment company, and I've been told I've only got 5 minutes here, so we're into minute 3 already. Being a recruitment company, I wanted to show you some of the sample current vacancies within the industry. We have roles which are on-site AV technicians, typically within that salary range, as you can see on screen. We have venue production roles. So this is where you might be working in a theatre space. It could be an auditorium. It could be a museum. It could be a gallery. And then you have other roles such as beyond the technician role, senior event technician role. And then you're moving into potentially the realms of freelancing, beyond which you can expect to work in camera operation. It could be editing. It could be it could be audio production. There's a whole manner of avenues that you can take. So in terms of, is there a career, crucially, in AV beyond doing an AV technician apprenticeship? Well, let me tell you here and now, we currently have over 250 plus permanent live vacancies. So you can see there's a huge demand out there for all manner of AV skills, okay? And the message here is quite simply, AV technician apprenticeship equals a guaranteed job. I hope that this has been informative, and I look very much forward to any questions that you might have after the other presenters. But thanks very much for listening, and crucially, we hope that you join the AV industry. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Graham. Wonderful insight into the industry as an overview there. There you go, a guaranteed job. Can't say fairer than that. So next up, we're going to go to Abdul Rafiq, who's the AV team leader at Bloomberg. How's it going, Abdul? Oh, you're muted, mate. You just hear you now, just a little bit.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, there he is. Yeah.
So, I mean, this is actually part and parcel of the AV experience. So this is what we're responsible for: audio, visual, anything to do with audio, anything to do with video. That's where we come in, and it depends on which areas you're focusing on. But this was a live example of some of the challenges that sometimes we have to address, and not always is it technology. Like here, it was a human error, and sometimes it's simple things that we try and rectify. Anyway, so who are we? Bloomberg. Bloomberg is a financial information services provider. We have offices across the world. Our ultimate aim, Gabe, if we can move to the next slide, please. Thank you. Our aim is really to deliver financial information as fast and as accurately as possible across the world. We have a global footprint with offices in excess of 170 across the world, and our platforms where we deliver some of this information to is our terminal, so the Bloomberg terminal, which has a vast array of data, news on financial information, but also world news, also sports and so forth. We also have Bloomberg Radio, Bloomberg Magazine, and also online contents also. But whilst I've been talking about financial information, I also need to make it very clear that at the heart of us is technology. So technology means a lot to us, and we want to deliver the best and brightest technology in the industry and push ourselves and the industry further. If we can go to the next slide, please, Gabe. So if you were interested in joining Bloomberg, I would highly recommend looking up, go onto our website and take a look about our company and what we do. You would be joining an award-winning building. Our London office won the award for the most eco building in the world. So it is actually quite an impressive achievement to have. But also our AV team, we've won Best Team of the Year multiple times, Project of the Year, and so forth. So we are actually very proud to be part of an ecosystem which is really looking to drive the AV industry forward and do the best we can to deliver the best services. If we can move to the next slide, please, Gabe. So a little bit more about the AV team. From our standpoint, AV is very important in our business. We touch all the service points across the world. Anyone who requires anything to do with collaboration, communications, technology, and so forth, we will be involved in that cycle, whether it's hidden technology or whether it's visible technology. What we do matters, and what we do also presents the business with creative solutions to deliver the best communications tool, audio-visual experiences, and so forth. So one of the things that we work very hard to do is to ensure we connect all the parties, whether it's internal or external companies or persons, together and deliver the best experience that they can have. If we can go to the next slide, please, Dave. From an AV team standpoint, there are 5 categories, distinct categories that we focus on, and those include the event space, which is where we have internal and external events. Some of those events can be with government officials, celebrities, and so forth. We look after the UC collaboration, so unified communication tools. Like this, we've got Zoom we're using for this session. So we will look at other solutions available on the market and what works best for our environment, and we will look at adopting those tools into our spaces. So we are responsible for making those decisions and bringing those tools into our environment. AV infrastructure, the technologies we have, one of the things that we're very proud of is looking at not leading edge but bleeding edge technologies. So things that people might not have tried, or we actually like being the guinea pigs for some of this technology to actually see how far we can push things and drive things. And there's a number of experiences we've done in the past where we were very proud of being the first to deliver some of those things. Design, building management, digital signage, you will be responsible, or you will have the opportunities to actually work on designing AV infrastructure in our corporate landscape, and also work on some management through guidance, but those opportunities will be presented also. Next slide, please, Gabe. So I just wanted to just pick on this bit, technology and innovation. And technology and innovation is very important to us. One of the things I said earlier was about looking at the best tools, the best technology, and bringing those in. Sometimes it's not about what we have out there or the leading edge stuff, but it's about pushing boundaries and going into bleeding edge technology and seeing what you can do and what you can't do. And that's actually been one of the best things about working at Bloomberg. Certainly for me, that's we're always challenged, we're always driven to try new things, and nothing's off the card. So if you think of something, you see something, where we have the opportunities to go to AV road shows and so forth. If we identify technologies or tools that we could adopt here, then it's really a case of just speaking to the business, to managers, and seeing how far we can actually push those. But we are in control of a lot of that. And if you were interested, we do training. So we wouldn't bring you here and expect you to drive things and start operating control rooms or stuff like that. But we would look at providing you with training, soft skills, hard skills, audio, video, and so forth, to ensure that your platform and your foundation is as successful as it can be. It is a great place. Thank you very much. Over to you, Jack.
Thanks, Abdul. I wasn't expecting to be brought on there, and so that was a nice surprise for me. But really, really interesting to hear about Abdul. Thank you so much. I should say as well that I was lucky enough to visit Abdul at Bloomberg. Must be a few years ago now, mustn't it, Abdul? Because it was pre-COVID.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a stunning building, and I'm sure an amazing place to work. All right, so next up, we're going to bring in Colin Etchells from Savile Group. Colin, how's it going?
Hi, I'm Colin Etchells, Group Technical Director at Savile Group. The award-winning Savile Group has and is a leader in the UK audiovisual business and industry for over half a century, and develops and delivers cutting-edge solutions. Supported by this established business, we're now looking for the next generation of talented AV technicians to help us shape the AV future in what is, as we've heard, a multi-billion-pound industry. Have the next slide, please. So I'd like to take this opportunity to share with you some of the exciting opportunities for apprenticeships that we can offer through our two specialised operating brands, and they are Vis-a-Vis and Spark. Next slide, please. So Vis-a-Vis is dedicated to working with leading global brands, and we provide specialist audio and visual systems that are used every day to allow people to communicate and collaborate, driving business success in the UK and across the globe. Next slide, please. And then our other brand, Spark. This team, this part of our business, are masters in technical production. Spark are the leaders in providing extraordinary events and experiences around the globe, both face-to-face and in the virtual world. We've now got a short video to look at what we can do in these two areas.
This is just the beginning.
Back to you, Jack.
Great, thanks, Colin. That was exciting. Another exciting one. Okay, so how are we doing for time? 25 past. So last but by no means least, we're going to bring in someone from AVIXA now. So AVIXA are the globally recognized professional body for audiovisual technology. And we're going to bring in Joseph Valerio. How are you doing, Joseph?
Doing well, Jack. Thanks for having me. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me from across the globe, coming to you live from the United States. We represent all of the companies you've met today and thousands more like them across all parts of our great industry. And as Gabe extends the slides here, you can kind of see what that really means to you. So as you finish your apprenticeship, consider and think widely today about what you want to do after, of course, and the experiences you have during this apprenticeship. That we are the Audiovisual Integrated Experience Association, as mentioned. Really what that means to you is we are the professional association and trade group for this entire industry. And what we do, if Gabe continues to extend the slides, thank you, is we offer you certification preparation, training, all kinds of upskills and further professional development as you advance in your career. A community of thousands and hundreds of thousands of people across the globe, just like you've met today. And a place like our 12 global trade shows where thousands and thousands of companies present all of the great technologies and more that you've seen today. Some of the bleeding edge technology that's been mentioned, where everybody can come together, and buyers and sellers, and make all these great choices for the installations in some of the facilities you saw today. Case in point being, this is all about being creative. This is an industry that is all about pushing the envelope into what experiences are like for everyday people and how you can be a part of that. And so Gabe will move on to our quick video, which hopefully gives you a bit further context and what's a possibility into this great career.
Have you ever wondered how it got there? Have you ever asked yourself, who made this? The things that make you just go, wow, are ran by ordinary people. And now an opportunity for the next generation is finally here. This is AV. This is where art meets technology, where sound, space, and design come together to create experiences. It is for those who are different, those who like to challenge the realm of possibility, those who envision working outside a 9-to-5 and see themselves as a part of a team. We're the ones that design the lights. We're the ones that move the sound. We're the ones that create the experience that millions enjoy. And now you can be a part of the making. Join our campaign to engage the next generation of AV professionals.
And that means you, really, frankly. And as Gabe will whip through some of these great examples, I want to give you some more real-world examples to think widely, think more broadly about everything. What you've seen today, hopefully, is that AV is everywhere, both in demand and therefore in job creation. And it's in retail, it's in shopping malls, it's in all the great experiences we have every day, buying products, shopping in person, or using new technologies like touch screens, or even buying a new vacuum from Dyson and enhancing that buying experience. It is improving technology every day. So people like you can be behind helping people travel more efficiently, feel less stress, and get to places more easily using these great technologies. It also helps make hospitality more personal, making experiences more exciting when you go and check into a hotel and when you find your way around London, or when you go to that pub and want to have that game day experience. Maybe you want to also experience that from a place of understanding and empathy, where you try to get some rest in a place like that. When you maybe have medicine or emergency response needs, our people in this industry are behind helping make that more efficient and more advanced. Doing surgery, doing emergency care, AV is behind those experiences as well. What about banking? You've just heard from the folks at Bloomberg. We try to do that to make it efficient, make it easy, make it quick, and make people's buying and financial experiences easier as well. Here's a great example actually from the London Stock Exchange. AV all over the place. These technologies helping get the latest stock tips and trends out there. And let's not, of course, forget about you all at the universities. There are people behind the university classrooms every day making those function, helping that learning experience happen for you. And next we'll have culture, museums. It's making these experiences come to life for us in cities and in different cultural centers every day. And so whether you're using AR and VR in museum settings to learn about the ocean or pollution and how we can conserve the earth a bit better, or whether you're actually experiencing live projection on buildings in places like Sydney, Australia. So hopefully this also shows you that this is truly a global business, helping cities be greener, bringing in smarter technologies to help logistics and those daily commutes happen. Or maybe even building the new Apple headquarters in California using augmented reality technology before you actually build the architecture. And of course, the biggest part of our industry that hits home for all of us is entertainment. It makes home entertainment turn into global competition. So whether you're into esports, which is now blowing up, look at all the people behind this live event here. What about showing game day experiences in football matches across the globe so people can see the Premier League go off? There are people behind all of these things that bring fans closer to the action, whether again, installing these huge displays at the football stadium or bringing it to you live in the exteriors or at the stadium or at home. And of course, making the events themselves, there are thousands and thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people every day making these events unforgettable. And so the people behind the creative side, people behind the sound and the lighting, they're making it happen every day when you go to see these shows. And so you can be a part of that as well. So as you're thinking about your apprenticeship scheme here, if you're thinking about maybe what you want to do with that career, know that there are people every day in this industry who are looking for people like you to bend the reality of what we know is possible. And so everything that Graham shared with you is important to know that you can be a part of a team. You can be a part of something that's bigger than yourself, make very good money. And we'll stop here for a second, Gabe. To give you further context, you can be in sales. You can be the person behind all the content that you just saw. Project manage these types of installations and projects. You can do things like Abdul does at Bloomberg, where you manage the technology, but you also manage the teams that install it in those buildings. So there's so much design and engineering that goes into that. Of course, it goes without saying that manufacturers always need a lot of great people who design products, test them, sell them across the industry to companies that you've met today. Thank you, Gabe. And again, really the industry is abound with opportunity. Hotels, museums, governments, sports stadiums, Fortune 500s like Bloomberg, distributing this technology to people like you've met today for them to buy. It's really endless. And so here's a link we wanted to leave with you to see really how ultimately you can take away an understanding today that everyone that's presented to you today and all the other options in this creative industry are all transferable skills. So no matter where you work around the globe, all those skills that you're learning in this apprenticeship scheme will translate. So thank you. I hope that wasn't too quick. I appreciate you letting me be here today, and know that your organization will be behind you along this way as you go through your apprenticeship scheme and into a career. So Avixa is here to support everyone in this great industry. Thank you. Over to you, Jack.
Thank you so much, Joseph. Wonderful to see things from a global perspective, and that's something I'd like to echo as well. These opportunities are global. They're not just wherever you may be based. AV workers are needed all around the globe. So if you get your apprenticeship, who knows where that could lead. Okay, there are a couple of questions that have come through. And I'm just going to take them one by one. The first one is, how long does the AV technician apprenticeship take to complete? It's 2 years. So it's 2 years you'd be working and training. The next one is a question for all the employers. I know the answer to this. It's very, very straightforward, simple, short answer. Are you taking on AV technician apprentices now? And what do I need to do to sign up? Well, the answer to the first part of that is yes. Seeing they're all nodding their heads. What do I need to do to sign up? I suppose there's probably a little bit of a longer answer, but what you can do, immediately is you can contact me. So back at the start, we brought a slide up which had my contact details on. So my contact is j.laidlaw@mbro.ac.uk. So if you're interested, you can come through me. I don't know if any Thea, Colin, Abdul, if any of you folks want to give out contact details now. If you don't, that's fine. People can just come through me.
For Bloomberg, Jack, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I've got you, mate. Yeah.
For Bloomberg, it is bloomberg.com/careers. That's usually where all the various opportunities are available, including the AV apprenticeship. But again, if anyone struggles, if they can go through you, just let me know and I can help them direct them.
Okay.
Yeah, happy to be. Happy for you to forward on my details to anyone getting in touch.
Brilliant. Thanks, Thea. Okay. And I can see Colin nodding his head as well.
Yeah, same as well.
Nice one. Okay. Oh yeah, I didn't notice my contact seems to be at the bottom of the screen now as well. So if anyone wants to just pick it up from there. Okay, so there's another question. Well, I'll take a straightforward one first, which is when is it available? So the answer to that is September. We're planning on getting up and running from September this year. However, lots of companies have started to recruit already in advance of a September start on your apprenticeship. So you'll probably find that you can apply for roles already right now. And the last question, which is a really good question, and I'm glad it was asked because it gives me a chance to answer it. What qualifications do I need to do the AV technician apprenticeship? Now, because the apprenticeship is a level 5, that involves what's called a foundation degree, which is the first 2 years of what you might think of as a normal degree. And so your entry level point will be level 4. So your standard entry qualifications for the AV technician apprenticeship would be anything at level 3. So something like some A levels, a BTEC extended diploma, that sort of thing. However, and this is an important however, if you don't have level 3 qualifications, but you have some prior experience in AV, and that can be in any aspect of AV, so audio, video, projection, even a little bit of computing, whatever it is, you may be able to enroll onto the program without a level 3 qualification. So it's always worth getting in touch with me and we can have a chat about what experience you've got. There's another one that's just come through that says, is there an upper age cap? No, there isn't. There's no upper age cap at all. There is a lower age cap. You need to be 18. All right, and I think that's all the questions answered. I'd just like to finish off by saying thank you to everyone for logging in and viewing, and a big special thank you to everyone who's presented today. Really, really appreciate it. And thanks to Gabe and Josie as well behind the scenes. Without further ado, cheerio. Thanks for watching.